Mr. Carrasquillo, what is going on? Hello, crafters, gamers, y'all, you dudes. I'm Big D, and you're not. And we are talking about some Warhammer. What is up, my fellow guys? Sorry I couldn't be here last week. I was out of it. I was feeling just out of it. I'm not one for allergies, but even this wildfire stuff is finally starting to get to me. And yes, this is me building some Space Marines. So I love me some Space Marines. So, things I've learned so far. Space Marines ain't great. Playing competitively. Playing for fun, they're hilarious. They're tough. They put some bodies on the board. They're fairly cheap. They got lots of options. And even if you're not running the super meta list, they're still Space Marines, which makes them fun. Because Space Marines are fun. I love Space Marines. I really do. I love me some Space Marines. They're quite enjoyable. And today's talk is going to be more about what I've been talking about, which is themes on play what you like, not what's quote unquote good. I was talking with some AOS players at the store the other night. Talking about the state of Age of Sigmar and 40K. Because try all you like, in some ways, these games are intrinsically linked. And there's really no way to get around that. What's good for one will slowly creep into the other. What gets played or the play style in one will eventually creep into the other. That's okay. That is perfectly okay with me. I was talking to one of my buddies about some of the issues I've been having trying to play um, some Age of Sigmar because my time is limited. And he's like, well, I mean, that's happening all over the place. There's a lot of games that people are just not having time for. And it's interesting to see that Age of Sigmar on the northern end of town and in the northern portions of the state, Age of Sigmar is starting to see if nothing else, a temporary, but it's starting to see a rise in play. There are a number of people who having to pick one or the other for the time being. You know, summer's always a slow time for gaming. But picking one or the other, it seems a lot of people seem to be picking Age of Sigmar. And some of that's just, I think, Happy Tuesday, Mr. Fish. Yeah, it's one of those things that, I mean, Ben has been preaching to the choir about Age of Sigmar for me for a while. I am a convert. I do enjoy Age of Sigmar. Actually, one of the guys actually sat down with me. He's like, let's get a list of what you have. One of the things I'm having a problem with is I have a lot of Stormcast. And although I don't want to build a meta list, I don't really understand their synergies very well. I don't understand how their synergies work. So he said, let's get together a list of what you've all got, and I can help you. I can help show you the synergies. So we're going to be getting together tomorrow, and he's going to show me what units I have go really well with what other units I have. And that's the thing, Mr. Fish. I kind of agree with you on that. I enjoy 40K's lore a lot more and the diversity in some aspects. But then the more I play Age of Sigmar and the more I read into Age of Sigmar, I'm like, it's got some shit going on in that setting. I've been watching the series Black Talon. And let me tell you, that show is something else. I'm watching Black Talon, and yeah, it's kind of crazy. It's really good. I was kind of shocked at how much I really like it, how much it goes into the lore of a character whose figure I actually really like a lot. That was what led us down the conversation talking about Stormcast. I'm like, I got the native Black Talon figure because her figure is, you know, really, really cool. And one of the vibes I really like about the whole Stormcast is they really are, they're Hero Hammer. That's a lot of that's a lot of their vibe, to be honest. And being a Space Wolf player, um, that's a huge deal to me because, Hero Hammer is the Space Wolf, you know, means of playing the game. Like, we've got good heroes. If we have nothing else, we have great heroes. Come play our heroes. Um, and that's been pretty much the vibe. And he kind of confirmed that's pretty much the way Stormcast are basically intended to play is you pick out the heroes you like the most and then you backfill what units work with them. So they really do kind of gel with the way I like playing armies. Yeah, the work with and that's the other thing. This working with this big Nurgle demon storyline they're running there has just been cool. Like I said, I mean, the character figure itself for her is a cool figure, and to have a show giving you lore about a character, just basically building up her lore and then building up lore in the setting on a whole and really giving you a flavor of, you know, what the Stormcast are like personality wise. So one of the biggest things you don't have is that there's not a ton of long form fiction. There's some, but there's not a lot. And I mean, the wolves. I mean, I started off not reading their long form fiction. Obviously, I started reading their codexes, but the codexes used to be a lot more fluff and deep into them, and then they got out of it, and then they came back to it. No, codexes still have a lot of fluff. Unfortunately, there's a lot of repeating themselves now, and that's just because I'm old. No, I'm not a boomer, and if you call me a boomer there again, Mister Carrasquillo, you and I are going to have issues. Um, Wait, that's how I'm supposed to make lists? That's how exactly I make lists. I pick my characters and then I build around them. Oh no, that's not the competitive way to build lists. No. But that's what I like about 10th. Like 10th is let's go super narrative. I mean, the editions seems to be designed for the narrative player, and I dig that a lot, a lot. Like a lot, a lot, a lot. And as you see, I'm still building more wolves, building wolves all the time. I'm trying to get through these figs and build me some more wolves. So yeah, I build armies the wrong way. Admittedly, if I was building for something competitive, I'd probably build it differently, but I'm not right now. I have a tournament. I have a tournament this coming weekend that I don't know if it actually is going to fire because last I checked, there's nobody signed up for it other than me and my team. It's a duels. There might have been one other team signed up, but that does not spark much joy. But I can literally go, I want to play some Age of Sigmar at any given day. And if I wanted to build, if I want to play structured or I want to play unstructured, that can go. I mean, I guess I could do the same thing with 40K, but the problem is I've got a lot of people that are like, well, I can play 40K or this other game. I can play 40K or this other game. I can play this or this, or if you want, we can play some 40K. And that's been a lot of the mood I'm seeing a lot of 40K players in. They're like, I want to build my stuff out, and I don't want to play right now because the meta is all janky. Well, I don't really care. I want to play games for fun. So, and that means I'm playing Age of Sigmar. I'm playing Age of Sigmar. I played a 40K game for funsies the other day. He said, bring some points and we'll play, and we threw down. And it was awesome. And yeah, that's when I found out Marines are very mid. There are some things they do very well, and there's some things they don't do very well. And I was okay with that. It worked out. It was fun. But could have been better. Could have been better. Yeah, the meta is terrible right now. I mean, basically, there's like 3 armies that are like dominating the meta. And as people figure out bizarre lists to work in the meta, they do well. And people that really know specific armies and a couple specific units are doing well. Like Necrons did something the other day that was really weird. They won a tournament, and it was like, where the hell did that come from? But Necrons have been showing strong so far, but I mean, Knights are kind of broken right now. Demons are doing fine. I mean, on the competitive scene, I don't even, I'm kind of watching it, but only kind of a little. Because they fixed one thing with the Eldar, and it doesn't seem to have really affected all that much. It was a minor fix, it seemed like to me. So we'll see. And like I said, it's been funny because like people are really trying to want to play some Age of Sigmar, want to play some Age of Sigmar, want to play some Age of Sigmar, want to play Marvel Crisis Protocol. Which is fine. It's one of those things I keep looking at the starter set and go, it's Marvel stuff, so I dig it. But am I really into that? Do I really want to just start another game? I don't know. I think if I play anything that's not going to be 40K or Age of Sigmar, I'll play some Song of Fire and Ice and Fire. Because I've got a bunch of that, or I'm going to play Conquest, something to get me to actually build my Conquest army and paint it up. I realize I really like Conquest. I like the look. I like the thing, but I just, again, it's kind of like, what are my local people playing? My local people are playing 2 other games that I know and like already. So why would I want to? Why would I want to take time away from things I know people will play that I don't have to look very hard for? It's all about lack of effort on my part. Let's play what's easy. What's easy? 40K and Age of Sigmar, and I like those games, so I'll play them. But yeah, Eldar are broken right now. I don't own any. I don't own an Eldar army that's built or painted. I don't even own one that's my wife's army, and she's been too busy working on other stuff to really touch it. I could do Custodes, but my Custodes are in disarray, to be honest. And I mean, they're doing really well. My Custodes are in disarray, and I don't know that I want to put that time into them yet. How about some Shadowrun? Yeah, no, I'm excited about that. I'm back into role playing games. My people know that. It's at a store, so I gotta put together like a mobile box that I don't mind carting around in my car that'll have some vehicles and some figures to be able to play, some combats in there. Although, if that game is one thing, it doesn't need figures on a table. I'm just a slave to figures on the table, and I'll admit that. I like having figures on a table. I mean, yeah, theater of the mind's great, but sometimes you just want to see fields of fire so you know who you're shooting at. Um, and that's a me thing. Um, I had somebody try and spend a good portion of the other day trying to convince me that I should play Necromunda. And whereas there is part of me that would love to play some Necromunda because it's very much my vibe. I think one of the bigger things I'd rather do is take a lot of the Necromunda stuff I have, build it and paint it, and use it as figures for my Shadowrun campaign. You know, punk looking gangers and weird technology and hyper jacked up dudes. Yeah, it works. It works really well. Uh, what else is going on? What else is going on? Yeah, so yeah, like I said, I was talking about Age of Sigmar, and like a lot of guys are seeing, like it's just because the meta's jacked up that people aren't playing 40k. They're playing Age of Sigmar, which has kind of a stable and normal and fun vibe to its quote unquote meta. Um, and I can understand that. I can absolutely understand that. So, like he said, yeah, he'd give me some tips on how to actually understand how to play my Stormcast. Um, it's a good excuse when I get sick and tired of building these wolves to get back to painting my Nurgles and my Slanesh. And then when I'm done with all that, I have my Ossiarch Bone Reapers, which just a cool looking army, man. Just a cool looking army. Um, and I have some ideas about some painting for them. Um, that doesn't go into my normal paint schemes, which is kind of interesting. Um, I kind of want to do my Ossiarch Bone Reapers with kind of a grayish ash, like an ashy color to their bones. So they're like not like a palish brown color, but more like a pale grayish brown. Like I don't know if that makes sense. Like I don't want to prime them in Wraithbone and then use the Skeleton Horde contrast. I kind of want to prime them in Mechanicus Standard Gray, dry brush them, null oil them, then dry brush them in a Uthian gray, so it's still keeping to the cold tones, and then do the bones with the the contrast skeleton horde, so they get like this brownish gray color to them, and then focus them on earthy colors, like lots of like bright, not bright, very worn brown, dark brown leathers and whatnot to go with those grayish bones, and then do any of the cloth in just, since I'm sticking to like a coldish browns for everything else, do like the cloth in like a bright color in the warm tones, something not even a muted, but I mean like a bright yellow or a very bright fire orange, but just cloth, only cloth in that. And then do the metals, do any metals that they have in um brass, like brass or even a darker bronzish colors. Come here. Come here. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Oh, you're gonna ragdoll me, huh? That's not gonna work. I'm gonna get you. This, this is a kitten, and you're an adorable kitten. Um, and her name is Chunk, and she is lovely. Um, I don't know, like a bright yellow or a bright orange. Um, but stay away from cold colors. Like, try to do them in like grayish browns, and then I really keep coming back to this yellow. I keep thinking like a really, really bright yellow. Or maybe even like an orangish yellow, like oh, like I don't know, it's hard to describe. Like if you're familiar with Crayola crayons, like an orange yellow. Meow, 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 meow. Yes, run away. Her name is Rummy. She's a big chunk of a kitten, and I love her so. Um, Something very narrative though. That's again the other thing is that I really am kind of mentally stuck on wanting to do something very narratively driven with an army. Um, One of the reasons I'm building wolves as much as everybody knows, I already have a lot of wolves. As I was building my deserty sand type army that I was doing for the 1,000 figure army, one of the things that struck me is that I have a lot more wolves than I realized I do. I have like a fairly massive wolf collection. I was doing some photos of it and trying to get a scope on what I'll have and what I didn't have. And then with the new 10th edition rules, it kind of became apparent that they intend or they intended for people to just kind of mix and match armies together in the case of Marines. So I had been building um, a quote unquote successor type chapter for the Wolves that was basically little more than the Space Wolf theme, but with it being a red wolf's head on a black shoulder, and calling them the Blood Mains, as they are under one of Blackmane's lieutenants, basically, who's Jarl of his own, but one of Blackmane's lieutenants called Dalagar the Red. And he's got bright red hair. They're space wolves. They're red main. They're black mains. I thought, it would not take much for me to take that concept just a little further and paint them a little more and kind of just use them as a successor chapter, I say a brother chapter, to the Space Wolves. And I could even mix up their color scheme a bit. So some of them get my red and my black. The problem is that this red isn't the red I want to use for my wolves. As much as I like this burgundy-ish red, it's not the red I want to use for the red wolves. And it needs a little bit of change. So I think I'm going to keep these 5. And as an example, potentially even give them away to a viewer as a thank you for being a patron. Or I might add a couple if there's an intercessor kill team, and specifically just use them for kill team. I haven't really decided what I want to do with them, because I love the way they came out. But I think if I do the split, I think if I do it as a more of a blood claw red, brighten that red up, and I can just do that too. I can just go back in and touch up the red, but then I wouldn't do the gun in white. So I got a lot of things I'm thinking about. I got a bunch of stuff I'm thinking about. So I'm going to take these 5 and I'm not going to repaint them. I'm going to set them aside. I'm going to put them with the other original, Death Speakers that I haven't repainted yet either. So they're their own thing. And just kind of set that specific project aside until I feel I want to pursue it again. Because it's just 5 intercessors. I don't need to repaint 5 intercessors. But I can go in and attack these red wolves, or whatever I end up calling them. Red mains, red wolves, blood mains. This successor chapter of wolves. So that I can paint them up, play them as wolves, or I can pull them out and the stuff that the wolves have that's still compliant, and move them over and play them as a Codex compliant army, giving myself a little bit more leeway and a little bit more room to kind of just do whatever the hell I want. I even thought about taking one of the other chapter symbols if I'm going to paint an all new wolf chapter that'll be usable for wolves or other wolves. Pick one of the other wolf chapters and use their symbol. And then I got a really good deal on a couple of Horus Heresy transfer sheets, which have bunches of runes on them, and a red wolf head. And I went, I don't even need to use printed shoulder pads. I'll just get those. So that's what we went with red wolves. So we might do the crimson. We might do the crimson wolves. We might go back to the original name for the wolves, the route. I might call them like the Sons of Mordecai. Uh, I don't like wolf spear. I just although I have a lot of wolf spear, I don't have a lot. That's the other thing. I thought about doing those wolf spear, but I don't have a lot of wolf spear transfers, and I have 2 pages of wolf spear transfers. And when I looked at how much a sheet of wolf spear transfers were going for on eBay, I was like, okay, no. $60 for the little sheet they did. I'm like, not no, but hell no. I do not think so. I will find some other way. And that's when I found the Horus Heresy ones. And I'm just like, I'll just go with those. I'll use the basing scheme for my Horus Heresy army, so there's not that solid pack ice, but they're more like a tundra. So it'll be mud and snow and ice and crystals, and I might throw some puddles down. I don't know. We'll see what we're gonna do. Right now, I'm just kind of building things and putting them in a box to get them out of the way. And the things I'm building for the bowl specifically are getting a paint on them and getting them out of the way. To get all this stuff off my desk, get this stuff backed up, and get stuff thrown away. It's a process. My room is overcrowded. My room is too much stuff. I have stuff I got to purge. I'm going to probably sell another army. I got rid of all my AdMech, and I'm now looking at a couple of my other armies and going, do I really need this army? Do I really want this army? Do I want my Tau? Absolutely. I love my Tau. I want my Tau. Keeping my Tau. Do I love my Guard? I couldn't imagine getting rid of my Guard. I have too much invested in my Guard. What about my Votan? I have the starter box, and that's it. No, I have a couple other units, but not a lot. Do I like the idea of the Votan? I do. Are they playing real strong right now? No, I don't care about that, though. It's pretty cheap to get Votan on eBay because a lot of people bailed on them. They're like, oh, they suck, and they're bailing on them on eBay. But I don't have any painted. I have a box of them built. I don't have any painted. And so part of me is like, do I really want to just start fresh with an army with a paint scheme? I kind of do. So I don't know about that. I really love my Necrons. I didn't think I would, but I really love my Necrons, and I want to play them more. I love their paint scheme. I love the way they play. I love that I have a lot of the big figures, a lot of the stuff for them, and I have more coming. So, I mean, what else do I have? I have orcs. I have a ton of orcs. I started painting that project a while ago. I have a bunch of stuff to work on them. I'll get to them eventually, I guess. So I think it's just a matter of me not adding any new armies to my 40K. I think I'm done with 40K adding new armies. I think I'm just going to stick with what I have and build them up. For Age of Sigmar, it's kind of the same thing. Like I've got my 2 Chaos armies, and I love them to death. I've got my Stormcast. I love their paint scheme. My buddy's going to show me and maybe make them playable in my mind. I just don't. Again, I don't get them. I love my Fat Boys. God, I love my Fat Boys so much. And I love the undead I've got. I just love their look. I love their actual look. Like their look is so cool to me. They're just, ugh. God, they're just great. So I want to keep them. And maybe just avoid buying any new armies forever. Oh, yeah. I mean, I realized how many books I had that were completely worthless to me. I mean, I've got knights. I'm not going to get the Chaos Knights. I don't think. I mean, I have one Chaos Knight. I think I happen to put him on my Death Guard army. Another army I love the aesthetic of. Not playing real strong right now, but I'm not. I don't have for that. I have them because I love I love my little fat gross boys. I've loved Nurgle for years. So you can't give up on Nurgle. Nurgle's the best. Nurgle's the absolute best. There's nothing better. I have my word bearers. It's funny. I like the word bearers lore more than I actually like the way the army plays, because I can't really play it the way I want. At least the way I would picture them playing. So I don't know. That's an army I might look at what I can do differently, because I do have a lot of pieces. I still have a lot of pieces I haven't even built or painted. They're just kind of there. So Lilith, yeah. It's a good kitty. Good kitty. Oh, the kitties. Kitties are good. Kitties are universal good. I love kitties so much. And it's dumb, but I love kitties. Kitties are the best. So yeah, that's my thoughts. One of the other things I really want to I really want to think about more for Age of Sigmar is that I'm looking at and for 40K, but for both, I'm looking at this narrative campaign thing they're doing. Now for 40K, they're doing one that's going to be attached to their magazine. This bunker. I don't know what to think about that. So if anybody messes with Bunker, let me know what you think of it. I want to see if that's worth putting my time into, because I'm kind of interested. I'm just not really sure. You know what I mean? I'm not like, oh yeah, let's do this. I'm not 100% on that yet. I think it has the possibility to be very good. Because it's player curated with some input from the studio. So it has the possibility to be very good. And that'll be interesting. I think that'll be interesting to find out and screw around with a bit. But I got some more free time. And we'll see. I mean, Shannon's loving her new job. If the weather wouldn't have let up and then brought the smoke back the last couple days, she was actually wants to come back to the show, which I'm excited for. So we might, in the near future, start seeing some more Lady D back here, which is nice. And she's got me working on some content ideas because, live streams are not the be all end all. I mean, they've been my bread and butter for about a year now. I haven't really had a chance to work on a lot of content. And I'd rather work on content and get some stuff talked about, some new basing ideas. I got some really cool basing ideas I want to show off. I have some really cool painting techniques I want to show off. And I have some tips and tricks as I've gotten better painting lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of figures. I've had some changes in the way I do things, which I kind of like. All right, so we're halfway past 8. But one thing is, with nothing really going on in 40K, there's not a lot to talk about. I mean, we're getting our Age of Sigmar is kind of spinning its wheels right now. There's a bunch of there's all this talk about Epic or the new whatever they're calling it. I was interested. I was hyped for all of 10 seconds, and then I realized it's gonna be more Horus Heresy. And that's when I realized I'm over Horus Heresy. Like, I'm converting all the Horus Heresy stuff I had into 40K stuff that I can. And the stuff I can't convert at all, I'm going to probably end up selling. I have no interest. I have no interest in Horus Heresy anymore. The game's not fun. It's super boring. I don't care. And if that gets me a lot of hate, then gets me a lot of hate. I just think it's super boring, and I don't want to play it anymore. Sorry. If that hurts your feelings, I apologize. Because yeah, it's not fun to play. It's not compelling to play. It wasn't compelling one bit at all to me. I thought it was going to be. I was so excited for it, and I realized marketing works on Big D, big time. So if you got a marketing idea that's really cool and you want me to give you money, convince me why it's awesome, and I'll chew that up. And that is just who I've turned into in my age. Oh. Leg, chest, body, arm, head, shoulder. There we go. Sweet. Shoulder. There we are. Yeah, I mean to ramble on. It's just like I said, Age of Sigmar's got me in its grasp. 40K has me in a narrative mindset, so I'm more into building and painting than I am into playing right now. And I mean, it shows there's a tournament I'm supposed to be in that doesn't have people signing up for it, which is sad. Because I would hate to see the tournament canceled. I would hate to see the tournament get canceled. But there's just nobody interested in playing. I think everybody locally is just kind of trying to figure out what they do and don't like about 10th, which is just silly. Just play it. But I played a couple of games. I've enjoyed it so far. I need to confirm some rules that I may or may not have been playing right when it comes to terrain and vehicles. And I think that's it for tonight, guys. I don't see a reason to belabor the point. So unlike the old days where I was screeching to get that extra few minutes of contact, I think for today, I'm going to say I love y'all. Thank you for dropping in. And y'all need to free up some time, play some games, and enjoy being epic. Because all you are. I love you much, and we'll talk to you soon. I'm Big D, and game on.